go R-E-S-P-E-C-T. Niggas singing like Aretha, boy, it's dangerous, you gon' see. I stay out these niggas' way, now we can't hang, that's how it be. Barely talk to niggas, cause niggas love to talk, and talk is cheap. It go R-E-S-P-E-C-T. They be claiming all these letters, they can't even keep it G. Lining up to hit the blunt because this shit don't cost a fee. Don't get no fuck by who around this hookah lounge, got smoke for bread on Uncle Eddie. What's happening, everybody? It's Lil Cho-Cho, looking like a fofo. Bang! And you watching Thunder God Comeback. Brought to you by the Thunder God himself, me, Thunder God Cho. And today, what we'll be discussing is the fallout of UFC 291, which saw a new bantamweight champion being crowned, which saw a women's strawweight champion retain her belt and show of dominance, which saw a rising star just brutalize a veteran. We saw the comeback of Chris Weidman, who was the man who knocked Anderson Silva from his 2-year-long layoff from breaking his leg against Uriah Hall at UFC 261, if I believe I'm correct. And we also had, of course, Chito Vera turned in another thriller. And the ultimate fighter winner, I forgot which season this is. It's been a trillion seasons. The first time having a two-time Ultimate Fighter winner, Brad Katona, and his Fight of the Night performance against Cody Gibson. All right, let's just dive into it. I'm going over the prelim, the main prelim, and the main card, and the fight between Brad Katona and Cody Gibson, the Ultimate Fighter, finale. So first off, we're gonna talk about the Ultimate Fighter finale. We had Brad Katona versus Cody Gibson, and it was a banger. They saying it's one of the best Ultimate Fighter finales since the boy named Forrest Griffin and Stephen Bonner, R.P. It was a banger. Man, at times it was like a street fight. They was going at it. A lot of volume, very little defense, very little movement. Just Justin Gates be saying, collision. Just a head-on collision. Like Kevin Gates be saying. Kevin Gates got a song talking about head-on collisions. But yeah, they got head-on collisions, man. It was a banger from round 1 to round 3. Now, at the round 1, it seemed like Cody Gibson had a little bit of the edge. And it seemed at the end of round 1 or in the beginning of round 2, Brad Katona was kind of starting to fade, but he caught a second wind in round 2, and that carried him through the rest of the fight. And he had a tremendous third round, which sealed the fight for him. The second round was close. The third round was definitive for Brad Katona. The first round could have went either way, but I edged it toward Cody Gibson. And the second round, I edged it toward Brad Katona. But it was a very competitive fight. Not much grappling. A lot in the striking realm. A lot of punches and bunches. A few elbows, a few knees. Not many kicks. But it was basically like a street fight, man. It looked like two motherfuckers at the bar that actually know how to fight. It looked like two motherfuckers at the bar that just had enough of each other. Now, it looked like one of these dudes was hitting on the other dude's bitch at a bar. Oh, God. Buying her drinks and shit, filling her ears with sweet nothings. And the other one had enough of it. Like, they was going at it. Like, some of them stole they wife's purse. The other one's wife's purse or something. Slapped their mom on the ass or some shit. Like, they was going at it, man. Like, it was a treat to watch. I'm surprised nobody hit the deck. I think Cody got rocked. Cody Gibson, I think in the beginning of the second, Cody Gibson got rocked. But ain't nobody hit the deck. Ain't nobody get dropped. None of that. One fight of the night, of course, well deserved. Applaud to both gentlemen. Dana White giving Cody Gibson a contract for that bang of a fight. Now, then, I'm going straight to, shout out my girl Angela Yee. Angela Yee. Why say Angela Yee? Angela Lee. Fighting out of Shreveport. She fought up and coming. Man, I forgot that girl's name. It's my first time watching an old girl fight. But she fought an up and comer.
She lost. But you know, I'm always gonna ride with her. She fighting out of Shreveport. I'm from Bossier, which is right by Shreveport. So shout out to Angela Lee. Shout out to her corner, Tony Kelly. Every interaction that we have with them been cool. So you know, I'm always gonna support the home team. Hopefully, she can get back on track and you know get back to her winning ways and overcoming what's been ailing her. You know. But shout out to Angela Yee. I just want to say that. Did I say Lee or Yee? I keep on saying Yee, like a Bristol or something. Shout out to Angela KGB Lee, like Tommy Lee. Lee, L-E, like Bruce Lee. Uh, but yeah, now I'm gonna go to Chris Weidman's return against Brad Tavares. Uh, Chris Weidman came back from a devastating leg injury. Uh, Stepping up to fight Brad Tavares, who got one of the best takedown defenses like ever. Like even if it might not be the best statistically, I mean, but it's who he, displayed it against. Uh, Mari Akhmedov, I think how you say his name. Takedown defense looked stellar against Chris Weidman, All American. Takedown defense looked stellar. Now, of course, Chris Weidman's leg wasn't really under him from leg kick damage, plus recuperating from the leg break. But man, the dude takedown defense is nothing to sleep on. But it was a bang up a fight, really, because Brad let it get that way. Because in the first round, Chris was taking a lot of leg damage, was getting beat to the punch repeatedly. Uh, but in true, at one point it looked like the fight was gonna stop. But in true Weidman fashion, he looked at the ref like, nah, let me run this shit. Hard nosed, hard ass, Long Islander, tough guys. So true Chris Weidman fashion, he kept pushing forward, going for the finish, uh, throwing straights and jabs and doing like the little like kind of like the running combinations. Trying to sometimes even being successful catching Brad Tavares when he bouncing off the cage. Went for a takedown or two, didn't get it. Then the second round, more the same. But Chris Weidman really started to land a lot more. And Brad Tavares seemed to almost like take his foot off the gas or something. Like he felt sorry for Chris Weidman or something, and didn't really. But I think he could have probably got the finish if he would have pressed. But either way, it made the fight entertaining. Chris Weidman was every time he get kicked, he'd just be like, man, fuck it, come on. Uh, so it made it entertaining. Banged it out. Third round, kind of similar to the second, much closer. The first was the widest margin, but the second and third was much closer because Wyman made it more of a fight. Showed his toughness, gave a good account of himself. But Brad Tavares was too fast, striking too technical, too on point. Uh, did a lot of investing with the leg kick. So shout out to Brad Tavares. He got the dub. I think it was 30-27 across the board. May have been 129-28. But shout out to Brad Tavares, the Flying Hawaiian. He ain't the Flying Hawaiian, but he Hawaiian. I just feel like saying. But shout out to Brad Tavares. He did his thing. Brad Tavares used to go on Xbox Live and game with my homeboy Troy Pierce. So shout out to that man, Brad Tavares. He got the dub. I told Troy before the fight that I had Chris Weidman. Chris Weidman was gonna win. Cause Brad Tavares, he don't usually show up in big fights, but he did what needed to be done. So shout out to him. And then in the first fight of the main card, you had Pedro Munoz versus, or well, should I say Marlon Chito Vera versus Pedro Munoz, the young Punisher. Man, it was a banger, as we knew it was gonna be. From the first round to the third, it could have been one of the fight of the night candidates if it wasn't for Brad Gatone and Cody Gibson, but it was a banger. Chito Vera stayed in Pedro Munoz's face. Pedro Munoz a little more movement heavy. Tried to kind of stay on the outside and pick his shots. In my opinion, he won the first round. And the second round was close. It was a toss up, but Cheeto Vera won for sure. Won the third round with his accumulation of damage. I don't know what Cheeto Vera made out of, but the dude don't show damage. The man don't get black eyes. The man don't get bloody nose. Bloody nose, excuse me. The man don't get cuts or scrapes. I don't know what's going on with that man. That dude is next to invincible, man. True all chin team member. And even though Pedro Munoz showed facial damage or whatever, never been dropped throughout his career, if I'm not mistaken, they've really been wobbled. Same with Marlon Vera. So two all chin teams is what I like to call them, going, blow for blow. But Marlon Vera's jab really dictated the fight. Really took over the fight with his jab. Pedro Munoz, he had his had his shine here and there later on in the fight. But that's when Cheeto Vera started pulling off with it. But it was another banger, closer fight than what the scores say. I say it probably should be 29-28. 30-27 is ridiculous. So hats out to both of them. They brought a banger like I knew they would. Two of the all chin teams kept they, all chin not resume, reputation and play, because neither one of them got dropped. But shout out to them. Marlon Vera got the dub. I think it was 30-27 across the board. May have 129-28 in there, similar to the Wyman and Brad Roy fight. Then next you had Mario Batista and Damon Blackshear. Now Damon Blackshear was stepping up on 1 week's notice, and I had picked Mario Batista for that. And really, I feel like the result could have went either way. Damon Blackshear could have got the dub. Mario Batista did get the dub, but Damon Blackshear could have got it too. The first 2 rounds, I could easily see Damon Blackshear getting the first 2 rounds for sure. The first. But Mario Batista got the dub. I'm not really against the decision. It was a close fight. I picked him to win, but it was much closer than I thought. Damon Blackshear could wait two weekends in a row because he just fought last weekend, got the twisted finish. But the man did not. He kind of gassed in the 3rd round. But come on, man, he had 2 weight cuts in a week. But the man, showed his resilience. Mario Batista showed his aggression. They stayed in each other's face. It was a pretty action-packed fight. It was not a boring fight. Even the grappling exchanges was entertaining. So shout out to them. Mario Batista got the dub, and then we move on to Ian Machado Gary. I think, yeah, Ian Machado Gary versus Neil Magny. And they were just shellacking. It was just a shellacking. Got me slurring and stuttering. It was a shellacking, man. That was a pummeling, or like my mama used to say, a plummeting. Man, he pummeled, man. Like, I figured the fight wasn't gonna be close. The speed different than Neil Magny stepping in on 1 week notice, man. I just knew Ian Machado Gary, he too accurate, too dialed in, too young. I just knew it was gonna be got the counter grappling to overcome, Neil Magny's grappling in the striking match. It just was gonna wildly be in his favor. At the beginning of the 1st round, he knocked him down with 2 leg kicks. So it just looked like it was gonna be a long night from there on, and it was. I feel like if Ian Machado could have pressed, especially in that 2nd round, a few times in the 3rd, he probably could have got a finish. But he just seemed to contend on beating on him, just giving him a good old-fashioned country ass beating. Kept the bad blood going, flipped him out multiple times during the fight. Really, did his best to paint Neil Magny as the bad guy and the villain in the fight. And everybody in the fight world that follow him may know Neil Magny not a bad dude. But that's what Ian Machado Gary, I guess he needed to do to get more eyes on the fight, or he might just think he a fucked up nigga. So I don't know. But man, it was not no competitive fight at all. He blew him out the water. Ian Machado Gary really looked dangerous, man. He called out Stephen Thompson after the fight, and I like to see that, or I like to see him, go through and fight Jeff Neal again. Because Jeff Neal, unlike Magny, Jeff Neal got some thunder to him. Like Magny beat Jeff Neal. But matchups, how styles work. I'd like to see Neil Magny versus, not Neil Magny, Jeff Neal, my boy Jeff, hands of steel, versus Ian Machado Gary. Jeff Neal posed a lot more damage, more danger with the striking aspect, and it's gonna be a banger, man. That fight will be a banger. I hate that Jeff Neal had to pull out. It was probably the fight I was most excited about on the card. But anyway, we're gonna go on next to Zhang Wei Li or Wei Li Zhang versus Amanda. I'm about to say Jessica Amanda Lemos. Now, really from the beginning of the fight, it just Zhang Wei Li was a step ahead. Too technical. But Amanda Lemos, she had a couple good moments on the feet. I think might have knocked her down or knocked off balance kind of late in the fight, but for the most part, she was, getting manhandled or woman handled, brother. Getting thrown around. The strike differential was crazy, man. It was a bigger strike differential than Capoeira. I forgot to say how you say her name. Priscilla. First name Priscilla. Cachoeira. I forgot to say her last name. But when she fought former flyweight champion Valentina Bullet Shevchenko, that strike differential I think was the biggest strike differential in a flyweight fight, maybe in one of the highest strike differentials in the UFC. But she eclipsed that. Zhang Wei Li eclipsed that with this performance. Had her in crucifix a few times. Now Amanda Lemos got a couple dangerous looking choke attempts early in the fight, but she didn't really have them. And Wei Li did a beautiful job of stepping over and relieving the pressure. So to get herself out the choke and continue just land the hammer like Thor. Hit it with the hammer like Thor, like that boy BLB say. She hit it with habitual horse. Hit it with the hammer like Thor. Hit it with the hammer like Thor, man. She hit it with the hammer like Thor. I'm surprised. I don't know how she didn't get finished, man. Like it was real one-sided, real brutal. Outside a couple moments on the feet. But Amanda Lemos is, a warrior for sticking in there. Kept fighting, kept trying to win, but she was just outmatched and outclassed in every way. Zhang Wei Li continued to prove she one of the best women flyweights of all time. If not the GOAT. I'm a Yoni and Jacek fan, but she got the dub twice over Yoni and Jacek. But Rose got the dub twice over her. But Rose, I don't know, she just don't seem to be as focused as Zhang Wei Li, because probably skill for skill, Rose would probably be the best women, I keep saying flyweight, women's strawweight at 115 pounds. I keep saying I'm incorrectly said that flyweight, but it's strawweight. But yeah, she continued to show her dominance and continue to show outside of what I just said her name, Rose Namajunas. She really don't have equal at 115. Now we might see, something different when with Tatiana Suarez, the female Khabib, as she called herself. And then it's a fight with Yao Xiaonan, fellow Chinese fighter, top ranked contender in the weight class, who had a nasty KO, first round KO of Jessica. I think it's first round KO of Jessica Andrade. So UFC might be wanting to go Chinese versus Chinese fight, or if not, it's probably gonna be Tatiana Suarez. But man, Zhang Wei Li is a threat. If Valentina Shevchenko get her belt back up at flyweight, it'd even be cool to see a super fight between the two. And with her physicality and her strength and athleticism, I don't know who gonna win. If Bullet return to form, I might edge her because she is naturally probably a bigger fighter because she's fighting 135, but not by much because Wei Li is, man, they good stacked. So I love to see a super fight between them two. But now on to the main event, which was Aljamain Funkmaster Sterling versus Sugar Sean O'Malley. And if you watch my prediction, which I guess nobody did, it motherfucker got 0 views. I put it up like 3-4 days ago. It got 0 views or whatever. If you watch my prediction, I had Sean O'Malley. I had Aljamain Sterling winning by either winning the rounds with back control and ground control, or getting a submission. I thought it was gonna be like a second or third round submission, maybe in the fourth round with the latest. But he came out, didn't really engage in the wrestling too much, struggled to find Sean O'Malley. And when he did get him up against the cage, he went for a half-hearted takedown, didn't get it, landed a couple punches. First round wasn't that eventful, but it was a kind of clear Aljamain Sterling round, just for activity or nothing else. In the second round, he pressed more, seeing to get in his groove more. But Sugar Sean was waiting. Sugar Sean was not trying to point fight. He wasn't playing the distance game. Sugar Sean was looking for the kill shot, and that's what he got. Aljamain Sterling leaped in to throw a blinding shot to cover up, a takedown attempt is what he's really going for. But instead of getting Sugar Sean to react and get him off his game, he stayed calm. He stayed, focused. Looked at him, stepped back, hit him with that step back counter, that pull two. But unlike Conor, he right-handed, so he hit him with that counter right, that straight down the pipe, dropped him. Commenced with heavy ground and pound, landed about half of it, 40% to half of it. A few, especially toward the end, looked bad. Like his head was dribbling off the canvas. Man, it looked crazy. But Aljamain the champion, and he a wrestler, so I feel he might could have got, he was rolling. He had was starting to roll and try to get to his feet. Probably gonna go for a takedown. So when it's champions, and they especially when they are grapplers and wrestlers, I think they should get a chance to kind of turn the tides and stay in the fight. But it didn't look like he was gonna turn the tide. It looked like O'Malley was about to put him out for good. But you always want to see it go a little longer. At the end, as soon as they stopped, Aljamain didn't really look too discombobulated or hurt. So he probably could have. It's not an early stoppage, but for a championship fight, I feel like you gotta, let everything play all the way out. But when championships on the line, but it didn't happen. But it still was a clean victory for Sean O'Malley. The main punches like lasers. The man is I don't care about him not coming from a kickboxer, a long, extensive kickboxing background, a long, extensive taekwondo background, none of this shit. I don't care. For MMA striking, he one of the best strikers in MMA, and that's what it is. Distance management is crazy. Footwork is crazy. Shot selection, timing is crazy. Fast, real quick. Got good length, height. Man, that dude is a problem striking for anybody. I'd love to see him go up at 145 at some point and have a striking match with Max Holloway. That'll be a amazing fight. Or Corey Sandhagen. But Corey Sandhagen been taking a more wrestling heavy approach. So they fight, it probably won't be what it would be like if it was the Corey Sandhagen that fought TJ Dillashaw. Now that would be a banger of a fight, but I still like to see my boy the Sandman get a crack at Sean O'Malley. But in my opinion, Sterling with multiple title defenses, and what he's done, taking the fight, a quick turnaround and stuff, I think he earned a chance to get a rematch. And I feel like if he chooses to pursue a rematch, he should get one. I don't know if it should be an immediate one or if Sean O'Malley should get the next fight, and then after that, fight Aljamain again. But we all know Aljamain don't want to stay around at 135 too long. He want to go up to 145. But Sugar Sean O'Malley, the UFC got what it wanted once again. The person they were rooting for, the person they were more, invested in winning because, highlight real knockouts, the colorful hair, smoking weed, hanging out with Snoop Dogg, podcast, the kids, young adults, they love him. Hang out with rappers and shit and whatnot. So, he got a, much more marketable style than Aljamain. So, that's what the UFC really wanted. was for him to win. Matter of fact, as soon as he won, not probably like an hour or two later, they put the KO on their official YouTube channel. I ain't never seen that close to a fight, but that's who they wanted to win. They trying to fill in at Conor McGregor slot, and Sean O'Malley, he tick off a lot of those boxes that Conor McGregor did, and real exciting style like Conor McGregor, real sharp and accurate like Conor McGregor. Can talk, but he'll be more laid back and grounded than Conor McGregor. But that's who they wanted to win. That's who won, and he won decisively, and he won clean. So shout out to Sugar Sean O'Malley. I picked wrong, but I also said if Aljamain stay on his feet with Sugar Sean, it's just playing with fire. You gonna lay down. Sugar Sean too technical, too precise, too accurate. He got that thump. He gonna catch you sooner or later, and I don't feel like Aljamain he don't got a bad chin, but he ain't got a Peter Young type chin that could just take those punches over and over. So if he was gonna stay on the feet with Sean O'Malley, that was good as just walking in and giving him the belt. So the fight was gonna be. That's why you can't really bet on this UFC shit, because you don't know where they mind is. You don't know what they can have a clear path to victory and just not pursue it. After the fight, he said he didn't think it was he didn't want the fight to be born. But I never really known him to care if the fight was born or not. He gonna go to where the fight is in his favor. But in this fight, I guess he knew the UFC was against him. He was in a popularity disadvantage. Everybody booing him and cheering Sean O'Malley, so he might want to make a statement, make the fight entertaining, and get a lot of good graces by beating Sean in an entertaining fight. But he was never gonna do that. Unless it was just round after round and ground and pound. That can be entertaining too. But he was never going to beat Sean in a stand-up fight. And he is, unlike most people, I feel like he is a pretty good striker. Different, but he ain't a dangerous striker. He's not dangerous enough to really keep Sean at bay with his striking. He don't really, got that thump or that danger factor to him. So on the feet, he was always going to lay. So anybody could see that a mile coming if they knew that's how he was gonna fight. That's why you don't, it's hard to bet. You don't know these UFC dudes. They do a lot of things that's not in their favor all the time. Unlike boxers, boxers get in the ring and they go for what they know. They go for it down to the dance most of the time. But UFC dudes, I guess because it's more action. MMA fans are more action oriented, and the MMA culture is more action oriented. It'll push a dude to, want to be exciting and want to go outside his box, but that's not good if you betting on somebody. You want somebody to do what got them to the dance. But that's what I got for UFC 292. I don't know why I'm so lethargic and shit. I'm kind of tired and shit. I slept full 9 hours, but I'm kind of tired and shit. I usually be more turned up. Usually be more animated and shit. But man, I can't get into it today. I'm kind of wore out. But yeah, that's what I got for y'all today. UFC 292 results. It's little Chocho loaded like a fofo. Bang. And you watching Thunder Guy Comeback. Brought to you by the Thunder Guy himself. Me, Thunder Guy Cho. Thunder Guy out. Huh.
Put that on Uncle Eddie, they be singing. Put that J with O to C. This was 1997, they would see the DOC. Gon' be lining up with pistols like they playing COD. Keep that dirty shit up off me, cause a nigga OCD.